When you ask people in Arizona, who do you trust to fix a broken immigration system? Is Trump +9 to the people in Arizona? Do you really believe she's going to build a wall?
No.
That's just bullshit.
Whoa.
She said 4 years to build a wall and she's done nothing.
And right now, Trump has some really good people around him, and he's more than willing to listen. He wants to listen, understand, verify, and then say, all right, who's going to help me get this done? And Bobby has been right up there next to him being like, I will get this done with you.
Once again, her words do not match her actions. So, but we got to turn down the volume on whatever it is she's saying and just look at her record, because that tells us the whole story about why we should not allow her in the White House as our president.
California has completely lost it. Now they're going to give something like $150,000 to illegal aliens for down payments on homes. The story comes over from the CaliforniaGlobe.com. You can see this one. The Senate passed a bill in California on Tuesday that would help pay for home down payments for illegal immigrants, with the newly passed bill now going to Newsom's desk. Oh, what's he going to do about this? It's Assembly Bill 1840 would expand eligibility for the California Dream for All program, remove disqualifications. If approved, illegal immigrants then could enter into a lottery system. Under the program, it gives 20% in down payment assistance up to 150 G's, baby. Woohoo! This year, out of 18,000 people who applied for the program, only 1,700 were chosen, but the bill would greatly expand the number of applicants due to the California Dream program targeting low to middle income first-time buyers. In addition, not all illegals would qualify. Only those with taxpayer ID numbers or social security numbers could apply, which I think they encourage them to get. They also give them driver's licenses and so on over there in California. According to the language of the bill, this bill would specify that an applicant who meets all other requirements for a loan, who is otherwise eligible, shall not be disqualified based on the immigration status. So if you're already a citizen who's been so taken advantage of by our own government through taxation and inflation, endless spending, and so on, you enter into a lottery system. 18,000 people, you're one of 1,700 out of 18,000. Now you have a bunch of illegals also applying. So let's say this number doubles. Are they going to double the number of people who get the assistance? Or does it dilute the chance of a citizen getting that assistance? Probably the latter, right? Which is a nice metaphor for everything else that's happening. They're diluting your share of your California lottery winnings, and they're diluting the share of your vote and your resources, and increasing the costs of goods and services constantly. So California's totally lost it. Now, since being introduced earlier this year, it became one of the most highly debated bills. Many states have denied resources, but they say opponents made their reasoning known why they're opposing this, saying the California Dream program ran out of money in its first 11 days this year, okay? It was gone in 11 days because it's free money. This potentially makes the argument that includes illegal immigrants moot, as the state is already tens of billions of dollars in debt. So yeah, I mean, they can apply. We have no money, so we're not going to give them anything. So it's like, whatever. What a wild state. Anyways, this is where Kamala Harris comes from, and they love her there, apparently. Worrisome for Newsom is the political backlash. He's trying to become a moderate now. He hasn't given any indication that he's going to sign it. Other Democrats want him to sign it, but at the same time, he's got to be cautious about this because it's going to anger a bunch of citizens. Newsom is expected to make his decision on the bill soon. Now, Kamala is doing the same thing, right? Kamala literally just posted this 20 hours ago. Says, even if aspiring homeowners save for years, it is often still not enough. My administration will provide first-time home buyers with 25 G's to help with down payments on a new home, which is also lunacy. So if you just bought a house and you didn't get $25,000 from your government, well, that sucks to be you, doesn't it? What a loser. Wow. So everybody else out there, right? And anybody who actually bought a home, right? At any time. Wow. So now the cost of homes will go up 25,000. So I guess when you sell it, if you sell your home, I guess you can just tack on another 25 grand on that because they'll now have it. So the cost of all the houses will go up. But anyways, this is Kamala's solution. And it's basically just bribing people. And of course, she's going to give this to illegal aliens as well. We've seen no evidence that this wouldn't apply to them. They're doing it in California, but you know, California doesn't play around. 25,000 $100,000? Get out of here. $150. It's California. Things are expensive there. They got to tax you and then ransack you with fees and regulations. So then Trump posted this today. He's getting a little bit more active over on X now. Says, look at these numbers. Here is what has happened to the home prices since Joe Biden took office. In January, the median home price was $307,000. Now it's $426,000. And now interest rates are up dramatically. So the actual cost of that property, when you pay for it over time, is up even more. So right, people can't come into it because the interest rates are so high. So it's not good. That's happened very quickly. 3.5 years, boom, 40% increase. And it's going to continue to go up and up and up and up. And if you bring in millions and millions of people, they're going to need places to live. And unless they bring houses with them, there's going to be a short supply. So you can see this is going to continue to be a problem. But Democrats don't really care about it because they just want to promise their side everything and hope for the best. Now, Lindsey Graham was commenting on the border. He was out. He said, look, Arizona people, hello, my friends, brothers, and sisters out here, says to the people in Arizona, do you really think that Kamala is going to build a wall? Are you kidding me? Come on, Arizona. Let's get with the program, Democratic Arizonans. Not going to happen.
In Arizona, you've been overwhelmed by illegal immigrants for the last 4 years. When you ask
40
people in
years.
Arizona, who do you trust to fix a broken immigration system? It's Trump +9 to the people in Arizona. Do you really believe she's going to build a wall?
No.
That's just bullshit.
Whoa!
She's had 4 years to build a wall, and she's done nothing. For the last 4 years, they've turned every Trump policy upside down that prevented illegal immigration, and we're being overrun with 10 million people. They're not going to do anything to fix America's problems. If you're looking for her to get this nation back on track, you're looking to the wrong person. The truth lies in their record. Their record is horrible, is terrible. 4 years of Trump, this was a safe country, a prosperous country, and a safe world. 4 years of Harris and Biden, the world is on fire, inflation is through the roof, and the border is broken, and we're risking another 9/11.
All right, Lindsey Graham fired up. It is BS. And now Kamala is telling us that she is in favor of a wall. She's going to shove some money over towards the wall after she called it racist and a medieval fiction or whatever she said. Well, the truth is it's a pretty big problem. Okay, Nicole Shanahan, who's now jumping on with Team Trump, says, earlier this year, I made my way down to Yuma, Arizona to see firsthand the reality unfolding at our southern border. I met with sheriffs, local officials, and leaders from advocacy groups who truly grasp the severity of this humanitarian crisis. Now, while Kamala Harris may have finally recognized the need for border security since it's an election, she's had 4 years as border czar, and the situation has only gotten worse. Harris's version of immigration is downright harmful to Americans and those being trafficked by cartels. The American dream vanishes under these policies. Says, I've included the full audio of my discussion at the border in the post below. Here is what she said in this little montage from Nicole Shanahan.
Part of the issue, too, that nobody really wants to talk about is what happens on the journey here. I know that you've probably heard that lots of times parents are giving their kids birth control or prophylaxis because they know that they're going to be violated sexually on their way to their destination. That's not an overstated myth. That's fact. The hardest part for us as an advocacy center is that we never ask the question about immigration status when a victim walks through our door. We serve victims of crime here, period, paragraph. The trouble is when that crime occurs somewhere that we don't have jurisdiction over. In other words, I can't turn to Chris Clem or to our county sheriff's office or to our police departments anywhere in Yuma County and say, please take this case and this evidence we've collected for this child, if there's no way to prosecute that or to hold anybody accountable for it because it occurred somewhere before they crossed into the United States. The normal tools in our tool belt that we use to effectively help folks are significantly reduced because we're sort of handcuffed with what we can and can't do. I cannot collect evidence on a case that I can't turn over to somebody. And we don't have a place to turn that evidence over and thereby be able to prosecute these bad actors who are violating these kids.
All enabled by Kamala and Joe Biden. One way to have less cases to refer off to the law enforcement authorities is to just make sure that there aren't people coming across the border, not making the journey. If they don't come across, then they don't need to give their kids prophylactics so that they don't make the journey. None of that happens, right, if they can't come across the border. But as we see, they're fine enabling it. They have allowed 300,000 kids to go missing, gone, bye-bye, that they knew about, that they didn't give notices to to appear that just never returned, never to be seen again, gone in our own country. So sick times. Now, we saw RFK is now joining the Trump team. The Trump campaign released a new ad featuring RFK Jr. Here's what that one sounded like.
Bobby and I will fight together to defeat the corrupt political establishment and return control of this country to the people.
And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and
Yes.
who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country,
Yes.
who's going to protect America's freedoms, that's going to make America healthy again?
Yes.
I think what RFK's endorsement really shows is that the Kennedy Democrats are actually more at home in the Republican Party of Donald Trump.
Today I'm honored to officially welcome another true American patriot.
Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent, if you love our country, as I do, if you cherish peace and freedom as we do, I invite you to join me in doing all that we can to save our country and elect President Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House to do the tough work of saving our country and serving the people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
A good one there with Tulsi inviting the Democrats to come and join us, and we're excited to see that. Now, here's more Nicole Shanahan. She was on with Cuomo. Cuomo is asking her, but why Trump, though? I mean, Cole, you're like an independent, kind of like me, says Chris. Why would you go and support Trump?
What guarantee do you have of any power over these issues in the administration? And two, why are you, who's known for being a savvy person, so quick to trust that
So
Donald
dumb.
Trump will deliver on what he says?
To answer your second question first, look, where we are right now is we have taken a year. Bobby's been running for over a year. We have crossed this nation. We have talked to Americans. We have met people from all ends of the political spectrum, which is what you should be doing if you are running for a representative office. You should be
100%.
out there listening. And
Yep.
our job is to bring that voice to whomever is going to be sincere in their reception to hearing the American public, where they're hurting, what is going on. I mean, farmers are so underrepresented right now. And this is why I brought up some of my criticisms of Kamala Harris's food cap economic policy, right? Or food price capping. Farmers are on their knees in this country right now. They are not price gouging. To say that our farmers are price gouging when they are already on their knees, who can I take that message to today? You tell
Yeah,
me,
that's a fair
Chris,
criticism.
who's going to listen
That's
to me?
fair
Because
criticism.
I have taken this message for years to the Democratic Party, and I cannot get through to anybody. It's not like this has happened overnight. I didn't wake up one morning and say, what a great idea it would be to leave the Democratic Party. No, I tried everything in my capability to get through to someone who would listen and hear this actual science, to hear the people on the ground, to listen to American voices. And we've got to judge people by their reactions. We got to judge people by the people around them. And right now, Trump has some really good people around him, and he's more than willing to listen. He wants to listen, understand, verify, and then say, all right, who's going to help me get this done? And Bobby has been right up there next to him being like, I will get this done with you.
Let's go. All right there, Chris. That's why. Because Trump is engaging in the conversation. He's creating a team of rivals, as Lincoln did, and bringing people together to govern according to good principles for America, right? I think that we all want to be healthy. I think many people, even on the left, begrudgingly, have got to admit that there are problems with the food, or maybe not. Are they just thrilled with the food? What are the Democrats doing every day? Are they just shoving seed oils in their mouths every day, all day? And they're like, no, I want to be disgusting. So I think this message will hopefully catch and spread around throughout the country. Now, here's another new release. Carly Bonnie grabbed this one over from TikTok for us. And you can see Trump released this with Tulsi Gabbard. This is over on Trump's official TikTok. We're not on there, so here is what it looks like.
So grateful to be here today with you, Mr. President. We may not agree on everything, but we agree on a lot. And most importantly, we agree on the threat that Kamala Harris as president poses with her policies and how she will continue to take away our freedom.
I really appreciate your endorsement. Thank you very much. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to make America great again.
Yeah, we're going to make America great again. All right, so that's good. Nice little TikTok there. And Tulsi was also out being asked about this. She is going to be joining the transition team along with RFK Jr. And I think they're called honorary co-chairs or something like that. But here's what she said when she was asked about this over on with Fox.
And with that, let's bring in former Democratic presidential candidate who is now backing Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, it's great to have you on the show. So the big news, of course, is that you and RFK Jr. now part of the transition team. What does it mean, Tulsi? I'm not saying you have to define your role, but I'm thinking, what does it mean for two independents to join the Trump transition team?
Oh, I think it speaks to the bigger point about what President Trump is doing here. He is showing that this election is not about Democrats versus Republicans. It's about voters having the choice between a president in Donald Trump who stands for freedom and peace and prosperity for all Americans versus Kamala Harris, who is a person who will certainly bring about an increasingly tyrannical government, more war, and economic hardship, the same economic hardship we've seen over the last 3.5 years. And it's not about taking my word for it or an opinion or a view. Both of these candidates, President Trump and Vice President Harris, have two very real records to compare and contrast. And boy, they couldn't be different. This is the choice before voters. Rise above partisanship. President Trump is showing that he can bring people together who may not agree on every issue, but who value what is most important, which is protecting and defending our fundamental rights and freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution and making it possible to live in a truly peaceful and prosperous society.
It's interesting when you talk about Kamala Harris's record, because there's word now that you could be helping the former president with debate preparations. Of course, it's very well established that you pretty efficiently took down Kamala Harris in 2019. Right. Is that something that you relish the opportunity to be able to help in that aspect?
Well, I want to be helpful in whatever way that I possibly can. And if I can be helpful to President Trump at all in this area, it really is just to share the experience that I had and what I learned in sharing that stage with Kamala Harris back in 2019. And quite frankly, the kinds of tricks that she will play in order to deflect away from her record, which voters need to know about. And the mainstream media, the propaganda media, is trying to cover up. You know, she will rehearse some lines and deliver them very well. President Trump knows the issues and he knows her record. And I look forward to seeing him challenge her and expose the truth about who Kamala Harris really is.
I wanted to get your take on a couple of hot issues. One, this Mark Zuckerberg letter where he comes out saying, listen, admitting that the Biden-Harris administration pressured them during COVID-19 to censor, and he used the word censor, COVID-19 content, said the laptop was not disinformation. What do you think of that admission?
It's coming. Well, first of all, it is what many of us have known all along, and I'm glad he had the courage to come forward and speak the truth, especially right now. And this is really important, Trace, because you have Kamala Harris, who's building her whole campaign around freedom. This is her new mantra that she's repeating. She repeated it in her debate, in her speech at the Democratic Convention, that she's going to be a president who champions freedom. But the fact is, as Mark Zuckerberg just exposed, it is Harris and Joe Biden who got him and Facebook to do their dirty work in censoring our right to free speech. Once again, her words do not match her actions. So we got to turn down the volume on whatever it is she's saying and just look at her record, because that tells us the whole story about why we should not allow her in the White House as our president.
Tulsi Gabbard, it's great to have you on the show as always.
Thanks,
Best
Grace.
of luck to you and thank you.
She's good. She's a good communicator, the way she handles those questions and delivers the message. She ties it back to Kamala, Facebook. We already knew this. It's confirmation. She's good. She's got her communication dialed in. So it's interesting. She's going to be on the transition team. Looking forward to seeing what they do together.